Hi everybody, we've been through 2 months of online teaching now, and I want to share with you how I managed to activate my students and which tools I use to make them motivated and to engage them in different kinds of project work. Let's begin. Basically, I want to talk about 4 tools that I use the most in these 2 months. They are GoFormative, which is a testing tool, Google Jamboard for mind mapping and project work, Padlet for portfolios and writing, and Nearpod for actually putting complete lessons together. Now let me start with Google Jamboard. Basically, it's Google's mind mapping tool. With any Google product, you can just share it with your students here, and they can edit this board on their tablets, their phones, or their computers. As you can see, the idea here was that I asked my students to redesign Budapest, the city we live in. They had to come up with different ideas. To be honest, I don't really know why the images are organized in this way, but I'm sure there's a reason behind this. You can see that they shared ideas and some explanation as well in the form of sticky notes. Basically, it's a very good tool for asking your students to work on different projects offline. Obviously, this is online, but when they are not in their live lessons, they can work on these boards in the form of project work. Another tool I'd like to share is Padlet. In this case, for example, the idea was that they had to argue with each other. I gave them a short task description that the idea is that they need to start an argument, and they need to use the following phrases that you can see here, and I gave them a demo as well. And as you can see, they started giving their arguments, and my highlights show that something is wrong there. They should come back to these parts later and correct their mistakes. So Padlet is pretty cool for this kind of activity. The other activity I asked them to do was to create a magazine. It was called our HowTo Magazine. They had to write how-to articles. Everybody received one topic. The idea was in this case that we learned how to write articles, and their work was to write an article and then to add hearts to these. Whenever you're designing project work or some kind of a writing task, it's always important to think about feedback so that not only you but your students read each other's articles as well. So in the case of this Padlet task, I asked them to give hearts. In the other, I asked them to give thumbs up or thumbs down. Next, I want to talk about Nearpod. Nearpod is a very good way to create lessons that you can either assign live, or you can also give these lessons to your students and they can do it at their own pace. You should imagine a slideshow which you decorate with all sorts of interactive activities such as matching pairs, open-ended questions, polls, or fill-in-the-blank activities. You can also add a collaborative activity, and you can even attach web content as well. Nearpod is amazing when you want to prepare for your lesson and let your students run through it at their own pace. And finally, GoFormative is a very good website to which you can get free teacher access at the moment. I personally like the layout, I like the design, how it can be assigned to students, and you can also check their responses as well. You can see that there is a guest code, or you can assign it to a specific class. You can view responses. For example, here's a response and I can just give feedback here. So it's a very, very well-built website for testing. I also want to show you that it's not only good for testing, you can also put together a complete lesson basically, because you are free to add all sorts of content and questions, which means that, for example, I can give a task, but then I can add content as well. I can even add images as well. So for example, check this infographic and summarize the main ideas, or watch this video and write down the 4 most important points. So it's a very good way to create a lesson and a test in one. So these are the 4 tools that I use the most in my 2 months of online teaching. I recommend these tools to you. And if you have any further questions, just put them in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.